is my turn. I just want what you
Another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchandu. It's my pleasure to be here with you once again. In a very interesting week in Nigeria's democracy, we witnessed a lot happening across the polity. Not so much happening with the presidency with regards to what Nigerians are expecting, which is names and nominations and appointments and all of that. But a lot happening with regards to the fact that Mr. President has been doing a lot to find an end to the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeastern part of Nigeria. He held another round of meetings with service chiefs and he also hosted a meeting of the Lake Chad Basin Commission to find a way to end what is basically it's reign of terror in the northeastern part of Nigeria amongst our neighboring countries as well. And he's also away in South Africa now to attend the African Union Summit and is the chair of the Security Council meeting there, which of course still runs around security. So he's doing a lot with regards to finding peace for Nigeria and Nigerians. But we're still waiting for those names. A lot of appointments are pending. The National Assembly has been inaugurated, even if in controversial circumstances, but at least we do believe that in the coming week or weeks, we might have names sent to the National Assembly for the government to finally, kick off in full force. But we're going to be talking about the National Assembly now and the 8th Assembly in particular with regards to the election of the principal officers that held on Tuesday. A lot has been discussed and talked about, how things went down. And I have here with me a lawyer who's going to be trying to dissect all of that, what's happened in the Senate and National Assembly. Wale Oshunde is here with me. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Okay, let's start with what most people called an unacceptable, for some people and some other study, was a great idea to hold a mock election by the All Progressives Congress. We do know that in a lot of democracies around the world, when a ruling party is dominant in the National Assembly, they tend to decide who their leader will be. In America, they have their Senate leader. They elect them most times without even coming to the Senate. In the UK, which practices a parliamentary system, they know their leader. So our system doesn't necessarily allow for that because all senators have to vote. Now, it wasn't such a wrong move if they did decide on one candidate, but they didn't. So why should they have gone ahead with that?
Well, I think it's just politics all the way. Politics, politics, politics. It's good for our democracy. But then what I learned from that very situation was that since APC has the majority of senators in the House, and same goes for the House of Representatives, they should have actually allowed all of them to go contest the elections. And then at the end of the day, one person, whosoever emerges, of course, would be from the APC. And so they should probably have allowed all of them to contest the elections and then be satisfied with the outcome of the results. Of the election. But then what we witnessed was a situation where they allowed politicking, somehow unnecessary politicking, to go underground, and then that was what resulted to what we finally discovered. A lot of stakes were involved, actually, and I think that was exactly what we got, at the end of the day. I should say that the thought of the mock election was not really bad, in as much as I do not totally agree with it, because everybody has got his own right to contest and, to vote and be voted for.
Yeah, I like the fact that you put that point out, because the APC leadership has gotten a lot of flack for organizing that election, which I don't see reason why. I mean, they didn't necessarily impose anybody, at least on the face of it. They wanted to hold an election, and they called all parties to come in, and let's see if we can choose a unanimous, candidate, so that we don't go into the Senate and air our dirty linen. Let's do it in-house. So why was it such a problem for people who were watching, saying, this is not democracy, why are you trying to impose a candidate? Even if they were trying to impose a candidate, they were trying to do it democratically. There was nothing wrong with that, was there? Exactly.
I mean, I just said it the other time. Only the stakes were involved. And I think that was exactly the reason why some people were crying foul in certain quarters, and that was why I said at the same time that perhaps they should have actually allowed all the contesting constituencies or the parties involved to actually go to the floor of the Senate and the House of Representatives respectively, and then test their muscles. And
so you think they should never have, that was a bad idea, or is there a way they could have done it differently?
it wasn't really such a bad idea, you know, trying to organize your house before you go to the floor of the Senate. Only that the undertone was what some people in certain quarters were not satisfied about. I mean, the stakes that were involved in the process. And then some people felt in certain quarters that those stakes would actually affect the outcome of the election automatically. So I think it was just a matter of stakes. You know, being involved. And then some people felt that, oh, come on, you should give me that fair chance to actually talk to my people and be voted for. I have my ambition. Let me do what I want to do. And if I lose the election at the end in any case, I believe that no matter what the outcome, you know, turned to be, APC will still have produced or presented.
Which they did.
Which they did at the end of the day. So whether with
all the sanctions
exactly.
being flying in the air. But
exactly.
let's go on to the main elections now, which held on Tuesday. And I think for the first time in Nigeria's history, we did have a Senate president emerge without almost over 1/3 of the members of the Senate not being in attendance. And there's a lot of debate as to the legality of that. People have said, oh, they formed a quorum. The senators who were not there have said, well, you only form a quorum when the Senate has been inaugurated, not for its inauguration and for such an important election, which is electing our leader. Everybody should have been given a fair chance to vote. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first thing is this. They formed quorum in the first place. And then the second thing was that
But you formed a quorum as senators. They weren't even sworn in yet. So were they senators? Do you understand what I mean?
Senators elect.
Yes. So they weren't senators is what I'm saying. So do you form a quorum as senators elect or as senators?
You see, the very first thing is this. There was, let me take it this way now. There was this announcement that the Senate was going to be inaugurated on that very day. Okay. Then the news flying around is to the effect that some senators decided to hold a meeting on that morning. When you are aware, or people are aware, everybody, we're all aware that the inauguration would hold that morning. Yeah. So then you now question the fact that some people went for their own meeting when they were supposed to be on the floor of the House, and that's one. Then two, they indeed formed quorum. They formed quorum. And if they did not, the clerk of the National Assembly would not have gone ahead to conduct that election. Only that, you know, politicians, they know how to play their cards. And then at the end of the day, I think the current Senate president was able to play his own cards, should I say, better off than some other people. I mean, go to the House of Representatives. They equally formed quorum. And then even almost all the members of the APC were there.
Both scenarios were very different because the House of Assembly, I think, had just 1 or 2 members not in attendance. So virtually every member of the House was there. But with the Senate, we had just 58, I think, in attendance. Then
you ask yourself why. Because we are, I mean, everybody, we were all in the know that that inauguration was going to hold that day. So why were you not on the floor of the House?
The Mr. President called them from what we hear. And if the President is, in quotes, the leader of APC, since he is president, they probably wanted to listen to him because they were in crisis at the time. They had a leadership tussle. Some people had broken out saying they were not going to abide by what had happened with the mock election. So, of course, Mr. President was trying to pacify and bring peace as quickly as he could before the inauguration happened. You think he shouldn't have done that?
I don't understand what you mean by crisis. Because this is just supposed to be a simple election on the floor of the Senate.
Supposed to be, but it ended up not being.
But it was a simple election. I don't know how we look at it, but the truth is it was a simple election. Yes, somebody won unopposed. But then we were all aware, and then I keep saying it. Everybody, you know, we're all aware that this thing is going to hold this day. And then you should expect every member, every senator-elect to be on the floor of the Senate.